Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'm very happy to see you and to see that we have few participants and they going on. So we'll begin our conversation just in a couple of minutes. But first of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Alla Kostovska. I'm Ukrainian editor and project manager, and I'm here today representing Komora Publishing House. And this event is the part of the project, the visual stories from Armenia, Georgia, and Ukraine. This project is supported by Creative Europe Cooperation Grant, and the final outcome of this project will be a comic book created by 3 women writers, one from each participant country, as well as 3 illustrators who were selected on basis of a competition. And this book will offer women perspective of war. This project is being implemented by a consortium of 3 partners, and I would like to list them. So it is Literature Initiative Georgia, represented by Medea Metravelli, Ari Literature Foundation in Armenia, represented by Aravik Ashkharyan, as well as Komora Publishing House, represented here by me. So today's webinar topic is self-entrepreneurship and monetization of skills for illustrators and comic artists. I am delighted to introduce our 2 wonderful speakers, Zhenya Olinik and Yulia Vuz. They both are Ukrainian well-known and very successful artists with many, many interesting cases and interesting projects. And I am sure that we will hear today a lot of interesting insights. It's a big pleasure to me to talk with you, Yulia and Zhenya, and I am sure that for our participants as well. And I would like to ask you to introduce yourself a little bit and to tell us about your background and how you started your journey as an illustrator, as an artist. Let's begin with Yulia.
Okay, let's share my screen. Hello there. Hello, everyone. My name is Yulia Vuz. I am 28 years old and I'm an illustrator and comic artist from Ukraine. I live and work in Lviv now, but I was born in a small mining town called Chervonograd, but actually it's now renamed Sheptitsky. Long story short, decommunization. In my professional life, I do a lot of different stuff like comics, editorial, advertising, and brand illustration, book illustration, etc. I've loved drawing since childhood, but no one in my family actually had a creative profession, so I didn't really consider it as a serious path. But when it came to choose university, I realized I don't like to do anything else but draw. So I decided to study in the Ukrainian Academy of Printing, where I could choose between design and graphics in the second year of studying. I had no idea what actually I want to do, but eventually I chose book graphics and printmaking. But both design and graphics there were still more related to books. That's how I learned linocut, etching, lithography, and a lot of different stuff. After graduation, I decided to focus on illustration, even though it was much easier to find a job as a designer. That's how my freelance journey began. First with children magazines, then books, book covers, and eventually projects in many different fields. This is a pile of books I designed or illustrated. Today I can say I've worked with a lot of different clients like the Washington Post, The Economist, Adobe, UNDP, the Ministry of Economy of Ukraine, and etc. I've also collaborated with many Ukrainian and international publishers. As for comics, I started drawing comics about 4 or 5 years ago. And now, besides having comics published in a lot of different media, I also have 4 printed graphic novels, all created together with my husband Ivan Kipibida. Our books include short history of Ukrainian feminism, short history of Ukrainian literature, On the Edge. Sorry, I didn't have a page with this comic, and a short history of a long war. A short history of a long war has already been published in French, Ukrainian, and English. Also, editions in German, Czech, Polish, and Finnish are on the way. So thank you, and I hope I can share something interesting and useful with you today.
Thank you, Yulia. It was quite impressive. And I would like to ask Zhenya also tell us about herself.
I'm an illustrator and comic artist based in Kyiv. And I've been a freelance illustrator for about 7 years now. Initially, I am a journalist. I actually studied journalism as my first higher education, and I worked as a journalist for about 5 years. Then I continued my higher education in my master's program in cultural studies in Kyiv, Mahila Academy in Kyiv, as I wanted to specialize in culture as a journalist, to become a cultural journalist. But something went wrong, and I ended up as an illustrator. Actually, I just think that this path was quite natural for me, because I think I am way too introverted to be a journalist after all. And at some point in my career as a journalist, I realized that I need to do something that is quieter and that requires much less communication. So at some point, cultural criticism was that getaway for me. But as a freelance journalist, there is not many ways you can monetize that successfully. At least it wasn't it was a case for me. So I realized I need to change my career, or at least reshape it in some way. So I remembered what else I can actually do, and I've been drawing since I actually remember myself. And actually, when I got my first job at the newsroom at Radio Liberty Kyiv Bureau, I wasn't only a reporter, but I also was a political cartoonist. I was 19 and I never done that before, but I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this. So yeah, I guess in fact I was drawing from the very beginning as well. And these 3 fields may seem like mutually exclusive, but actually they are not. And these occupations and these professions intertwine for me, and a lot of these experiences complete one another. For example, when I work with storytelling in illustration and in comics, my journalism background helps me a lot, and as well as my cultural studies degree. And I think this experience and this knowledge base makes my work what it is. I work mostly with as my website says, mostly with editorial illustrations. Some of it some of my commissions are commercial illustration, and I do books and comics. So the commercial projects are mostly somehow connected with the mostly our social campaigns, or somehow connected with social topics. For example, this illustration is a project I made a couple of years ago for a hub for Ukrainian refugees in Poland. I worked a lot with social topics as a journalist, and a lot of my clients and a lot of my work like naturally came from that, because I already knew organizations and people who write about it, so I could participate in this in illustrator's capacity, when earlier it was like a journalistic capacity. This is like almost purely commercial work. It was a series of covers for the series of online courses for index-based design school. I do my fair share of book covers, mostly not as many as Yula does, but I did like some for many Ukrainian publishing houses, and lately it's mostly been the One More Page publishing house, which I enjoy quite a lot. This is Whale's Fall by Elizabeth O'Connor, and this is The Prophet's Song by Paul Lynch. And the most part of my work is editorial illustration, and this is actually what I kind of aimed um, for it to be the most part of my work. This one is a portrait of Leibniz for the New Yorker, who was published in winter. This one is recent, is for Bloomberg, for an article about the vanishing workforce, the legal immigrant workers that are being deported, and how it influences the economy of the United States. Yeah, and this one is also a recent one, a illustration about for the essay about miscarriages and this taboo of this topic that many women carry that we don't know about. And of course, comics. I did some before the full-scale invasion of Russia and Ukraine, but this field of work of mine intensified after it. I found it to be a very sufficient channel of communication for the foreign audiences as well. And this is one of the first strips that I drew about like the first days of the invasion for the New Yorker. And later, as the full-scale invasion proceeded, I proceeded to teach and make something like visual essays about what it feels like to be in Ukraine right now, what Russian colonialism means for us. And in particular, this is a snippet from a comic about the language oppression, the oppression of Ukrainian language in Ukraine. It's a story about my family, which is pretty common for a lot of families in Ukraine that used to live in the village, and then the later generations come to city for work and they get Russified. And through this story, I try to explain how what are the status of Ukrainian language now and what transformations it's been going through. And this one is the recent one. It's for the New York Times about how it basically feels to be to live in a buffer zone between Russia and the quote unquote peaceful West. Like the feeling that this is a place where you can be almost lawfully killed and there won't be any particular consequences for Russia, and how it feels to actually exit and then re-enter this zone. Yeah, so this was a very short overview of what I've been doing recently, and yeah, I'm ready to tell you more. Thank you.
Thank you, Zhenya. You have a very unusual way into the art market, I think, but it's your unique talent, I think, the journalist background. So before we start, I just have a quick note for everyone who watching. We have the Q&A section in Zoom here. So if you have any questions for our speakers, you can send them via chat, and we'll do our best to answer them maybe in the last part of our conversation, or if maybe they will be relevant to the topic we will talk about at the moment, so we will include them. Okay, and to begin with, we're here to talk about monetization, money, and all the questions that are quite important for all illustrators and younger illustrators who just begin their way. So what challenges you as a comic artist face with monetizing your work most often?
I guess I start. As a freelance artist, you have to do everything yourself. Manage your work, run social media, deal with taxes, contracts, clients, and a lot of different things. It's extremely difficult, especially when you're starting out, and of course later you might be able to work with an agent, an accountant, a lawyer, but at the beginning you feel lost. You don't know how to promote yourself, how to price your work, or how to talk about your art in a way that sells. Actually, you just wanted to draw. And even when comic artists do earn money from their work, the income can be low or unstable. Many artists, including me, work in other areas too, like illustration, animation, or storyboarding, for example, to make a living. Even popular comic artists sometimes have a normal job beside comics. So yeah, and that's hard.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I agree that it's mostly that you have to do everything by yourself. Like you're responsible for finance, you're responsible for branding, you're responsible for invoices and updating your portfolio, and that's exhausting sometimes. But I think that if I had to specify it, it would be that your workflow will probably be inconsistent, and you have to think about it, and you have to have some savings, and it is hard as a beginner because like you need to you're just starting to monetize the skill, and you already have to have some resources to rely on. And I think the second one that I would specify is negotiating the prices and your worth and good conditions. It's yeah, I think it's like a separate skill.
Yeah, thank you. Like, so now you both work as self-entrepreneurs, but did you have some experience working in a company? And if so, or maybe you just start as a self-entrepreneur, or if you worked in company, what was your way to decide, like, to leave it behind and to move on as yourself, as personal entrepreneur?
After graduating, I decided that I want to work as an illustrator and not as a designer. But in illustration field, there are not a lot vacancies actually. So almost from the beginning, I started to work with projects on freelance. I had a time when I worked as a designer in agency, but it was just a couple of months. And at the same time, I work on freelance. And also, I worked as a lecturer in the design school, but that's also at the same time as freelance. So yeah, almost all the time it was freelance and is.
Yes, Rania, are you was independent from the beginning?
Well, I worked in the newsroom, obviously, and I just remember that I worked 2 months in an advertising agency, but like it was basically a scam because I was hired. I was in much need of money, and I was hired without any specification of my position. And after all, I just discovered that I was supposed like make notes and make coffee. And it wasn't really clear in the beginning. So yeah, that lasted like 2 months. And then I quit. But yeah, apart from that, no, I've always been freelancing.
Okay, and like we have a question from the participant, and I think it's quite on time. How did you learn to price your work as a freelancer and manage your time also? So can you tell us about how you price your art and how you overcome, I don't know, maybe imposter syndrome, because I think a lot of young illustrators had this, and how do you negotiate these prices with
I think I'll still learn how to price my work properly, but for me it was really helpful to talk a lot with colleagues, and I learned a lot from Facebook group Illustrator. We had this professional community group where you can ask questions and find a lot of useful information. But pricing is always tricky. I usually base my rates on the time I spend and usage right. And I guess it's really important to being able to clearly explain your pricing to clients. You need to understand pricing yourself first, what you are charging for and why.
Okay, thank you, Shania.
There is a lot of resources on the internet, and yeah, some professional resources that you can use to know how to actually calculate the price. And it is very useful because you know like what it consists of, and you can use that knowledge and use that theoretical base to calculate your prices. However, it's really still very tricky because every client is different. And when you start digging into this pricing theory, you'll see that the price, how big the client is actually influences the price and affects it. And we have this close community of friends illustrators, and we discuss like very random things in that group chat. But sometimes once in a while someone comes and it's like, guys, I have this commission, how much do you think I should charge? And it's like illustrators with 10 plus experiences. So yeah, I think it's always tricky, and no matter how experienced you are. And you also have to know that, yeah, every client is different, and sometimes you know that they can actually pay you more and you can negotiate, and sometimes you know they just can't. Like most of Ukrainian publishing houses, unfortunately, they just can't pay you more. And most of the time, you have to accept it. Like you take the job or you don't take the job, and there is not much point in trying to prove that it's worth more, because yeah, it is in the perfect world. And for example, in editorial, the prices are fixed. Like you get the brief and there is already a fee, and it's usually non-negotiable. So yeah, you should know how to set a price, but there are a lot of nuances and like a lot of exceptions from the general rules. So you need to learn how to calculate it, but you also need to learn how to be flexible.
Okay, you pointed that in Ukrainian, in Ukraine and with Ukrainian publishers, you can't have really like good charges because I think everyone in publishing area, or like editors, proofreaders, people who do layout, they everyone are underpaid because it's just the field with this huge problem. But sometimes you choose this work even though this is underpaid. What makes you feel good after doing this job? Maybe what sides of this cooperation, maybe what is it, a project, or it's just clear communication, or you just love this publishing house? What makes you take this deal even though it is underpaid?
Yeah, I guess it's communication. I just nice people. I know them. Um, and also when the client is really good and he realizes that fee is not as high as it could be, they try to compensate it in giving you more artistic freedom, for example. And yeah, that's also a like good manners in volunteer projects. Like we ask you to work for free, but we also give you absolute freedom. For example, it's Kyiv Book Festival Arsenal took place recently, and every year there is a this huge exhibition by Pictoric Illustrator Club, and they cover the print expenses, but they don't pay for the artwork. But they like let you do whatever, and there are no notes. So it's just like this kind of exchange, and the same thing with paid projects, but like not with not that high fees. It's so that you get be to create more freely. Yeah, but I also have to remember that unfortunately not every project will be paid as good as it should be. That's just the reality, and you can just accept the commission or not.
Yeah. Yulia, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I totally agree with Zhenya. Actually, when it comes to book publishing, I guess you take this project because you like the topic or the project is interesting, but mostly it's like a volunteer project because they are underpaid.
And how often do you review your rates and your charges? Like, for example, when you feel that you need more money, or you feel more competent, more grown as an artist, how often do you do it, and how you communicate it with customers and who you work with like long time?
I review my charges when I realize my colleagues charge more for the same job. And I'm like, whoa, okay, I think I should charge more than it's peer pressure for me.
I think about reviewing my charges after visiting dentist, cosmetologist, and some other stuff. So when I realized I have much lower rate than all of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned community, you mentioned Pictoric and some Facebook groups. So I want to talk about professional community and professional networks. So is it very important to be part of professional community, how it can help you and how you can just like enter this community if you just beginner illustrator?
I can tell from I can talk from my experience as a freelance journalist and as a freelance illustration that I was like very, very pleasantly surprised when I switched occupations, that illustrators community is much more open and helpful and uh, yeah, than journalistic community. And it's uh, not that it's like horrible in journalism, but it feels like everyone is on their own, more or less. And it actually really made this transition very easy, much more easier for me from journalism to illustration. That I had so many people to support me and to ask for help and for advice. And yeah, it was the Illustrator community at first, but then I just like made friends with a lot of illustrators and just your colleagues, but you're not competitors, and there is a lot of solidarity in this community, and yeah, that's really great.
Yeah, I agree with Zhenya. We all are in our shells, but if you want to contact someone, you can easily write to anyone in social medias and ask any questions, and people try to help you as much as they can. And that really helps sometimes.
And I feel like it's I had the similar experience with foreign illustrators as well. For example, when you just follow each other on social media, and like I found that it's okay, it's acceptable to write someone and ask for advice. For example, I had a case with the New York Times. They had quite a big project, and I felt that the fee was pretty low, and I had to negotiate a higher one. And I then wrote American illustrator and asked because I saw that she worked with them a lot, and I asked her if it was okay and if like how I should, what my argument should be, how I should argue that. And yeah, she was very open and very helpful, and I was like very thankful.
Great. I think it's a great insight, just like not to be shy and
Yeah,
ask
yeah, yeah.
if you need this help.
I
And
mean, worst case scenario, they don't answer. So.
Thank you. And we already established that book publishing, especially Ukrainian book publishing, isn't your main income stream, but what are? So what income streams have been most successful for you, where you earn the most? Is it commissions? Is it merch? Do you do merch at all? Maybe some participation in fairs? Maybe you sell your work in some events?
Um, I would say that my main source of income now is editorial, but again, this is what I aimed for a long time. and like this is just what I wanted. I guess this could be it could be anything else for any other illustrator.
Okay, Yulia, what
For
is your
me,
main source?
For me, different commissions and editorial, yeah, have been the most successful so far. There were times when book publishing was my main source of income, but that was because I was working on many book projects at once. And since the full-scale war started, my productivity has dropped maybe even 3 times lower than before, maybe more. So now I can't always work on project I used to. I need much more time to complete the same amount of work.
Yeah. That's very real problem for all of us, I think. Just to survive these days. Okay, so we have a question from Sophia. She wrote, hello, thank you for your insights. I wanted to ask if you self-publish and how would you promote your comics outside your country and reach out to the foreign markets? I think you can talk about comics and about work with foreign companies in general also.
I don't self-publish. I'm too lazy for that, but you should because personal projects are important. And as for pitching comics to the foreign art directors, I actually just do that. I email them with an idea. Yeah, that's my way.
I didn't self-publish either. But yeah, you can write to art directors or agents, and you can make a small presentation. I saw some presentation from American market, and they try to show a couple of pages from the comic, a short scenery, like a couple of
Script pages?
Yeah, a couple of script pages, and show characters, for example, and make a little presentation. So maybe this helps.
Can you tell us about your first experience with foreign customer? Is it was your initiative or they reached you, and how it ended up?
I did like I pitched. I did portfolio pitches. I think I did it like 3 times at this point. Like to like 5 or 7 art directors at one time at once. Yeah, and this is I guess how I got my first foreign commission, and then it just like all the other commissions, like art directors just see your work somewhere, and yeah, and if it matches their image of what they're looking for, they reach out to you.
Cold emailing didn't work for me, but the first commission I got, it's just the art director found my work on the Instagram. But actually, you need to have your social medias and portfolio in English to make this happen.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Which social media you use, and what's your advice? How to organize, how to post some stuff in your social media to be recognized, to be seen, and what your tips to building building portfolio? Like, what should you include, and what some nice things which can impress potential art director or customer?
I'd say that your portfolio has to be consistent, so that your client has a clear understanding of what they will get. And you should put stuff that you really, really like in there. And I don't know. I think that's what I like what my rules for the portfolio are. And as for the social media, I don't have any advice. I'm very chaotic on social media. I barely post anything. I only have Instagram because Twitter has gone bad.
Yeah.
Toxic.
Yeah. Yeah, the Kara didn't work out. I think Blue Sky is dead. So yeah, Instagram for us. Um, yeah, I think that posting about the war somehow increased my views on Instagram and gained some audience, which is weird because Instagram tends to censor anything about the war in Ukraine. Um, yeah, but somehow it worked for me. So I don't know. I don't really have any applicable advice for you there.
Yeah, I agree with Zhenya about portfolio. You need to put the projects you like, in which you like your style, and you want to work with projects like that more. I wouldn't say I do social media in the right way or smart way or think a lot about my social medias, but I try not to completely abandon them. On Instagram, for example, I post a mix of everything, but mostly images, pictures, videos. On LinkedIn, I focus more on the professional sides, like projects, achievements, process, and I open to myself threads, but it's like a stream of thoughts.
Okay, thank you. And what platform you use for your portfolio, where you where you have all your projects, where which link you send to the customers? Is it just a file, or is Behance or other platform which is more usable for you?
I have a website. It's constructed on Adobe portfolio platform. Yeah, which is very convenient. You can use it, and it's like a paid version, so you can get a clear address with just your name in it. So
I haven't a website still, but yeah, I mostly use Behance for now.
Okay, thank you. And I would like to ask you to share some story, maybe with a case which was not good in that way that you wanted. Maybe it was like some failed case, but you learned some useful lesson, which you from that time it helps you. Do you have some story like this?
luckily, I haven't had a bad experience in a while. But I had a really like I think I had two like really bad cases. One was when I had like really abusive work relationship with a client, and I guess my advice would be like if you feel really bad, this communications feels really bad, it's not worth it. Like it's not worth the money. You should drop it. But I don't think if I would listen to myself at the time. Uh, and the second one was when I made a book and the publishing house changed the cover without letting me know and published it. And it's like the these books are still being sold, and I'm just waiting for them to end because what they did was horrible. But they violated the contract because it clearly stated there that they can change anything without letting me know and without my permission. So I hired a lawyer then, and they had to pay me compensation. So yeah,
It's a good case. It's a good case, I think.
like yeah, have a good contract, especially if it's books or something that can be sold in like many copies. Because like think about royalty and think about a really good contract, because it's like a long-lasting project, and you need to have everything in order there.
I don't know what to talk about here, but I guess I can talk about my first illustrated project ever, because at the beginning I was doing everything intuitively and learned through my own mistakes, and that's not good. The first book I ever illustrate that was an adventure. That was first time I got paid for illustration. Very little money, but still, this was like a victory to me. I had just graduated from university, and I started to search for jobs, and I just opened a Facebook and started to type phrases like looking for an illustrator or need an illustrator into Facebook search. And that's how I came across a post from a woman who had written a children's book and wanted to publish it on Amazon. But Amazon has their own file, how to prepare files, how to prepare layouts. So I did this all by myself. I taught myself how to do it and did all the layout on my own. And in the middle of the process, I realized that I had used fonts that wasn't licensed for commercial use. So I panicked. I had no idea what happened and started imagining myself in cell in prison. So I messaged an author right away, and we changed everything at the last minute. But it was a horrible story for me.
Yeah, but it's also a lesson. You always should check on the fonts.
Yes.
And do you maybe you can recognize or you can see some red flags in just first conversations, first letters from the customers or editors, just when you see just a letter or brief and you feel that, okay, it's not my type of communication, or other red flags you can share?
When they need a call right away, when they want to communicate briefly a call, it's like no, just no.
How
And
many
when
customers you you lose because you don't want to have a call?
not many actually, not many. And when they send you somebody else's work as reference.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then you tell them they should go to that person.
Yeah.
Obviously.
yeah. I also wanted to say that red flag, and also the phrase like, we'll sign the contract later, let's just start working. And also a very vague feedback, which often leads to endless revision and endless work. And I guess also when client expecting you to work all day and all night long on weekends and always be available online.
Yeah, I can understand. Thank you. Also, I have a question. I think it's more for Yulia because as Yulia told us, she illustrated few comic books, short story of, and you did it in collaboration with your husband and also with writer. How you collaborated with writer and how you negotiate your creative control in these cases, or you do not have a lot of creative control and you just listen what the editor or the publisher or the writer advise you. And if Zhenya also have some stories about collaboration, we also will be happy to hear.
Yes, I have collaborated with writers when illustrating books and creating comics, and sometimes communication goes only through the publisher, but I always try to get in touch with author directly. I try to get to know the writer, and yeah, usually I start by reading a text, of course, proposing some concept, and if there isn't any ready yet, then I get the feedback from both the publisher and the author and try to understand further direction. I guess it's important to remember that for writers, their projects are also very important. And even if you think their ideas might not work, it's best to communicate carefully, explain your ideas, reasons, and suggest alternatives. And if we talk about comics, it's a bit different because when you work with someone else's script, you need to understand every panel well. So you're in touch all the time, asking questions, references, making suggestion, clarifying everything, because it's a huge amount of work. Usually we are working with Ivan, and we draw some sketches, and then like every 10 15 pages we have a call with an author and publishing, and together review the pages, because this way the process is faster and clearer, and sometimes new ideas just came up during this brainstorm.
Yeah, thank you.
And may I also ask, how do you share the work with your husband? Like, how do you decide who draws what?
Actually, we are always experiment, because in some of comics, Ivan made sketches and I made the finals. In some different ways, I made sketches, Ivan made the finals, but in the last one, we divide our work, because there were two different styles for like historic events and reality. So we divide. I drew historical events past, and Ivan drew this time. So yeah, it's always an experiment.
Thank you. Zhenya, do you have something to share, or it's you always try to work yourself on your comics? And
Yeah, I think I'd say so. I have like a few collaborations with the authors, but they were actually very technical, so there is like not much interesting things to tell.
okay, thank you. I also see that we have a few more questions. And question from Utagagwa, if I'm sure that I can misspell, so forgive me. Would you choose freelancing or working in agency if you work on your personal comics?
I'm not like I do comics and editorial. They are pretty short. They're more like graphic essays. It's not like it's different from what Yulia does. And I am not sure you can do it through an agent. Like I always work directly with the art directors. And as far as I know, that's the way.
I don't know how it to work with agents, but I guess um, maybe it's better because you have guarantees. You have people who show your works to publisher, and you don't need to do everything by yourself. But I haven't do anything like this before.
Maybe I'm not sure if I correctly understand, but maybe the question was also in if you like working on your comic book, your own comic story, and you need time for that, is it okay to have normal job in agency in some company, or is it okay to do freelance and your personal project? And I think also it's a good question. You can maybe tell us about your personal projects, and do you have time for them at all? Because you're freelancer, you have all your time. You can do anything you want to do your own projects.
Yeah, it's harder to earn money from personal comics than from commissions, and I always try to find time for that, but it's really hard. And personal projects are always a risk. Maybe people will love it, maybe not. Maybe it will get published, maybe not. So my personal projects are short for now, and I really want to do something bigger and trying to find time and energy for it, but not yet.
And what is your current personal project? Can you share, or it's just secret?
It's all they are all in my on my Instagram. I made some zines and some comic strips.
Okay, thank you. And Zhenya, how is with deals? How you deal with personal projects?
I have very few of them, to be honest. Like the last one that could be called personal is I was just remaking a comic that I made by commission. I made a comic for Kush anthology. It's a Latvian comics and anthologies. They are like very small and they have a topic for each one. Yeah, I made a comic for them over a year ago, and I just randomly decided that I liked the idea, but I didn't like how it was drawn. So I was like, let's take time and remake it, because why not? Why not focus on the work I did a long time ago instead of creating something new? Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I guess my personal projects are just it's just given into my perfectionism and remaking and perfecting the ones I already did. Yeah.
And I think both of you do like art activism. Yes, you make illustrations about current events in Ukraine, about war-related events. How do you consider it? Is it like your duty? Is it your feeling? Is it your small personal project, but it's like not the thing you wanted to do, but the thing you need to do? how you feel about this side of your work.
It just the way for coping all the situation. I for the first 3 years I tried to do as much work as I can, because it was my way to escape and like some of self-reflection. And when I drew comics, it was like the way to organize everything in my head, I guess. And yeah, you try to do something, and what we can do, just draw.
For me, yeah, I think it was like the way of coping in the beginning, but I've been doing much less of that in the last year, and just like in general, posting about the war and about yeah, I do post about Russian atrocities, but I had this. I used to post a lot about Russian imperialism and how they are how Russian liberals failed to be liberals and all that. But yeah, not anymore. I feel like I need to concentrate on, I don't know, cooking food, walking my dog, stuff like that. It's just better for your mental health. But whatever I have an idea uh, about the war in Ukraine and about the current state of things, I try to like fully form it and actually sell it so it like reaches the wider audience. Yeah.
Thank you. We have one more. It's like question. I will read it. It's from Sofia Gamaharia. Also, excuse me if I pronounce or spelled not right. Sophia writes, me and my local comic artist friends just started self-publishing. We recently published a comic anthology with our joint effort, and we are selling it in our local comic shop. We are just starting out, and we are still learning how to navigate the market. However, we plan to continue to publish more books and perhaps from into an artist-friendly comic book publishing house. Would you be interested in collaborating with us at some point in the future, maybe under the funding of European Union Cultural Program? And by the way, have you had experience with any cultural projects funded by EU except for this event? As far as I'm aware, they include cultural exchange or mobility within the region.
Yes, please reach out.
I think
Yes, of course.
dear Sophia, you can write to any organization which implemented this project, and we can share contacts, your Julia's and Zhenya's contact with you, and you can talk about it. Okay, so I still have some questions for you, and next one is about some competitions. Do you participate in art competition? And if so, is it helps you and your brand, your personal brand, or your development as an artist?
I have bad experience with competitions because
Can you share it?
yeah, sorry.
Can you share this bad experience? It's also experience. It's
I mean, it's like it was pretty ineffective for me. I mean, I applied and nothing came out from this. Or once, no, I have one merit award in iJungle Illustration Awards, but also it's just like complete mystery if it influenced my visibility in any way. So yeah, I'm like all for apply. I guess it's great. A lot of my colleagues get into the long lists and short lists, like uh, all the power to them. But yeah, that's not my case.
Yulia, did you had an experience with competitions?
Yeah, I used to take part in a lot of competitions when I was a student, and I also never won anything. I didn't even make it into any catalogs. And after spending so much time and money only to feel disappointed, I started to believe I just wasn't good enough. So for years, I stopped, focus on my work. But eventually I won an Adobe grant, and since then I've started to take part in competition again. Not so long ago, I won a comics residency in Riga, organized by Kush Comics. I got the only spot, and it was also a nice story because I hesitated for a long time before applying. I was in the middle of a long, stressful interview process for a job I really wanted. And after a few months, I got rejected. I was pretty upset, but then I thought, well, maybe office life isn't for me, so why not to take a shot at this residency? And I'm really glad I did. Also, I have another recent example. My friend from Poland sent me a link to comics and cartoon competitions organized by the Museum of Natural History in Warsaw, and the theme was dinosaurs are still alive or something like that. Of course, I completely forgot about it and remembered on the very last day. But I quickly drew comics and to my surprise ended up winning second place. So don't give up if you don't win anything right away. Your time will come, I guess.
That's the advice for me from Vida.
Zhenya, did you apply for some grants or residency? Do you have such experience?
I also received the Adobe grant, but like I didn't really see it as a competition because it was like a 8 for. I mean, yeah, there was this competitive element to it, but yeah, it was more like an 8 to Ukrainian creatives.
Yeah, totally. It's like different stuff, but grants and residency is also nice stuff because it's time when you can rest and you can do your personal project and you can like switch some your job. So it's nice, and it's also good to have a try and just to apply for different possibilities. Do you ever have a case when someone used your work without permission, and how did you react? How did you handle it?
I had some very minor cases when I did illustration for a big project, and they were illustrations for notebooks and postcards, and they also used it in packaging, for example. And it wasn't like we didn't agree on that, but it resolved like in just paying an additional fee. So yeah, I don't have an interesting story here.
Me too. I don't think I have such a cases in commercial. At least I don't know about it, but my illustrations are constantly posted online without permission, but it's not an interesting story. When I see it, I just try to ask at my name as an author, and that's it.
Is it works?
Sometimes. Not always.
Okay, thank you. I just remind that we still have 10-15 minutes. So for our participants, if anyone still wants to ask a question, this is the time. So write your question in Q&A section. And I would ask you to maybe propose some tips or maybe advices for our participants how to reach to bigger clients, how to price yourself, how to just like what you advise in general for the people of your field.
I have one advice: just don't compare yourself to others, because that's the fastest way to get discouraged, and compare yourself only to who you were before, because we all start from very different circumstances, and you never really know what behind someone else's success story.
But you could compare your rates if you wanted to to know should you review your
That
rates.
is actually helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say like try to if you're not if you're not sure about the clients, or if you're not like a good acquaintance, do your contract work, and like uh, make sure it's profitable for you. Um, I'd say like don't work at very low rates, but when you start, I think it's inevitable to like at some point you just need money and need a job. So like I don't know, if you do, don't feel very bad about it, but like don't make it a habit. Um, and I guess yeah, do your personal projects, because you won't have a portfolio yet, and this is what will make your portfolio in the beginning. So this is something you should focus on, and also ask for feedback, for a lot of feedback and for advice, because you will be learning, and you need feedback to do that, to develop.
Yeah, that's true. And
And
protect your eyes and back. That's important.
Yes, go to the gym now, like now. Sign up now. You will thank yourself later. That's a really good advice. That's what we should have started with, honestly.
maybe you have some tips about contracts. What points, like what paragraphs in contracts are most important, and what we should consider when signing this contract? Can you like propose any changes? Do your changes, like if you propose some changes into the contract, are the company accept them, or you can just no, okay, bye.
Well, also it depends on the client and on the project, but if it's publishing projects, I usually make sure that the client can't make any changes, because yeah, experience, and that I look at just licensing terms, like the territory and the duration of license. Just thinking about if I can like use this illustration in 5 years' time, if I can resell them, if it's publishing, and uh, you think that the book will be translated, for example, you need to take care about this translated edition rights, like if you to make sure that you will get something from it, because it's often the case with the illustrators that when the book is published in when the rights are sold to another publishing house abroad, like the illustrator gets nothing or almost nothing. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, don't be afraid to stand up for yourself in contract negotiation, because actually I had such experience. One of books I made at the beginning of my career was recently reprinted, and of course I didn't earn anything from that, because I sold away full rights, like forever, for the whole world in all the formats, and that's sad. And in Ukraine, we have this project called Uzgoda with templates of typical contracts for illustrators, designers, artists, and so on. That's useful too.
Do you have your own like contract which you propose for other, like contract template, your own?
Yeah, I do.
You have.
Me too.
Okay, so it's also the variant. Just if you have lawyer, you can have this template, and then you can ask people to work on basing on this contract. We have a question from Sophia. One more. Would you recommend the online platforms like Upwork or Fiverr, or maybe other tools you can recommend?
I don't know. I've never worked on them, so no idea.
I've also never worked on any platform, but many people do, and that's a nice platform to actually find international clients and make money. So why not?
Okay, thank you. And also we have a message from Aravik. It's she's our colleague from Armenian Literature Foundation. She wrote, I would like to thank the ladies for the conversation. It is indeed valuable for comic artists and illustrators who have doubts about their profession. Good luck to you both, and I wish you clients who are able to offer high rates and good artistic freedom at the same time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I also want to thank you everyone who joined us today, and a very special thank you for our wonderful speakers, Zhenya and Yulia, for such open and insightful and inspiring conversation. And I would like to mention one more time that this webinar is a part of the project Visual Stories from Armenia, Georgia, and Ukraine, supported by Creative Europe Cooperation Grant. And we're proud to continue creating space for these kinds of exchanges across the borders. Now, we invite everyone to follow the project page and stay tuned, because our comic book is almost ready, and very soon we will show you what we've done for the past almost 2 years. So thank you again. Thank you for being with us, and stay safe.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for having us. Have a nice evening. Bye.
Bye.